Hello, everyone. Welcome back to 3 News Now. It's Monday, September 14th. I'm Stephanie Haney. It's so great to be back with you after some time away. I want to say a quick thank you to Kiera Cotton and Ben Axelrod, who were keeping you in very good hands, keeping you informed. Of course, also Danielle Wiggins, who's giving you those early morning 3 News Now updates. It was a wonderful vacation for me. I had some great time off. I'm very rejuvenated and very happy to be back with you, letting you know what's going on here in Northeast Ohio. Now, I was hoping to come back to a victory Monday, but that was not in the cards for us. So let's talk about the elephant in the room. Let's talk about the Cleveland Browns' loss yesterday in our season opener to the Baltimore Ravens. Of course, it was on the road. We lost 38-6, which was not the opening that we were hoping for. I know, we're not going to rehash the entire game, but let's talk about something that a lot of people were talking about yesterday and still talking about today, that failed fake punt attempt. New Cleveland Browns head coach Kevin Stefanski took ownership of that. He said that was his call. Of course, it was his call. He is the head coach. That happened in the first quarter from the Browns' own 31-yard line, and we saw Jamie Gillen take the field. We tried to make it to a first down. We didn't do it. We got 6 yards, so Jamie Gillen, who is known as the Scottish Hammer, takes the field. We expect to see a big kick out of the Scottish Hammer because you don't get called the Scottish Hammer unless that's what you do, right? Well, that is what he does, but he didn't try to kick it. He actually tried to run with it, and that resulted in a fumble, and that did not work out well for us. And then before we knew it, the Ravens were up 10-0 very early in the first quarter. And that is not the kind of situation that we need to be in when we're trying to beat a team that is kind of a well-oiled machine. Well, it didn't work out for us. The game, if you all watched it, you saw it, brought me to a point that I like to call Browns math. This usually happens late in the third quarter. At this point, late in the third quarter, the score was 31-6. And that's the point where I kind of try to do the math and see what it would take for us to win the game. This is a very complicated combination of touchdowns, 2-point conversions, field goals. Maybe you throw in a safety and you just do the math and see how we can actually get to the point where we can possibly win. And that didn't happen for us. And it has lots of people saying same old Browns, including our very own Jay Crawford, saying same old Browns here. I got a text from my dad just a couple minutes into the game, and he said, same old Browns, 2 possessions, 2 turnovers. A lot of people definitely very frustrated. However, some people saying the Ravens are a great team. They are seasoned. That was a tough opener. We've got a brand new general manager. We have a brand new head coach, a first-time head coach. But if you look at what people are talking about, RJ Crawford says it was a tough season opening loss. We are 0-1 for the 20th time in 22 years, and that's not a great look. So if you take a look at Jay's analysis on WKYC.com, he says, sure, the Ravens are a tough yardstick. Sure, it's early for our new head coach, Kevin Stefanski. We didn't have the preseason to work out some of these kinks. There were lots of injuries, but he does make a good point here. Considering last year's team, which ended up going 6-10, beat the Ravens 40-25 in Baltimore less than a year ago, Jay says it's hard to imagine that we end this season with more than 6 wins. Ouch. That is a pretty foreboding forecast there. But the good news is we don't have to wait long to see what will happen next. We do take on the Bengals Thursday here at home. The Bengals also lost on Sunday, so both of the teams are coming in 0-1 right now. And fans are allowed in the stadium at First Energy Stadium, so we will see if that is a factor here. Also, something you need to know about, a little programming note for you. After Further Review is back. That is hosted by our very own Dave Dino DeNatale. That was on this morning at around 11:30. The guest this week was our 3 News sports analyst, Ben Axelrod. You've seen him here on 3 News Now many times and probably follow him on Twitter. If you don't, you need to be following both of them on Twitter. Great Twitter follows, especially when it comes to all of the sports things that are going on. So you'll be able to check out After Further Review also on WKYC.com. That was live this morning, but we still have it on the site. So, moving forward, onward to Thursday. Here's hoping for a victory Friday, and we will talk about that then, of course. Now, here is some pretty wild news about a Cleveland cold case. Authorities believe that they have captured the person responsible for a 1981 rape and have found a suspect that they believe is responsible who had been supposedly hiding out in Puerto Rico for about 40 years. This is a 67-year-old man. His name is Julio Rentas, and he was arrested in Juana Diaz, Puerto Rico. That's about 65 miles southwest of San Juan, Puerto Rico. He is accused of a rape that happened in Cleveland in January of 1981 of someone who was then a 14-year-old girl. So here's the timeline. Let me break this down for you. It was January 4th, 1981, when Rentas is accused of sneaking into the bedroom of a girl here in Cleveland, a 14-year-old girl, and is accused of raping her. Now, on January 25th, that same year, 1981, he was arrested and he was released before his next court date. Well, that court date was set for March 25th in 1981. He never showed up, and that's when authorities say that he began living his life on the run. Cut to Wednesday, September 9th, 2020, and he was arrested late in the afternoon. So authorities are just making us aware of this today. They just announced this today. It was the cold case unit of the U.S. Marshals Northern Ohio Violent Fugitive Task Force that took on the case. So here's what we know about how they came to find this suspect. They said that they found people who were associated with Rentas in the greater New York City area and also in the Daytona, Florida area. And they didn't say how, but they just said they got the tip that Rentas had been hiding in Puerto Rico since the early 2000s. So they put a tail on him and they arrested him. Here's where it stands now. His next court hearing is on Thursday in Puerto Rico, where they will confirm his identity and then start the extradition process back to the States here so that they can move that cold case forward here in Cleveland. Now let's move on to a Verify case. This is based on an email that came into our Verify team from a viewer, and people wanted to know about Joe Biden, the Democratic presidential candidate's voting record when he was in the Senate related to taxing Social Security benefits. So the question was, did Joe Biden vote to tax Social Security benefits twice during his Senate career? This is true. There's a lot of context to add to this, though. It was in 1983 the first time when Biden joined what was a bipartisan effort to make 50% of Social Security benefits taxable. Prior to that, Social Security benefits were not subject to federal income tax, okay? But in 1983, this did pass. Now, this taxation of Social Security benefits only applied to people who had other income, so not their Social Security benefits, but other income of more than $25,000 if you filed your taxes by yourself, or $32,000 if you filed your taxes as a couple. And I'll reiterate again that your Social Security benefits did not factor into that money, so you had to have outside income in addition to your Social Security benefits in order for those benefits to be taxed at that point. This also had overwhelming bipartisan support, so both the Republicans and the Democrats were in favor of this, and it was signed into law by then President Ronald Reagan. Now, here's the kicker about this, though. This tax actually went to fund Social Security. It went into something called the Social Security Trust Fund. It wasn't a tax increase just to fund the general spending. It was actually to make sure that Social Security could continue. So the Verify team talked with Alex Lawson from Social Security Works, and Lawson explained that at that time, Social Security was in trouble, and if something wasn't done to move it forward, the benefits would have been reduced or not available to some people or things along those lines. Now, the second time, 10 years later in 1993, Biden voted to pass what's called an omnibus bill. Now, an omnibus bill is a bill that's a bunch of things that are just kind of thrown together, all passed as one package. And the goal of this bill was to lower the national deficit. Now, this one, very split along party lines. This was not a bipartisan effort. And there were lots of things in this bill, including upping the taxable amount of Social Security benefits from that 50% to now up to 85%. And this time, that money was put into a trust fund for Medicare. Now, Alex Lawson, that same expert who explained that 1983 vote, also said that it would be unfair to criticize any member of Congress for any one aspect of an omnibus bill, on one of these bills where it's a bunch of things that are thrown together. Lawson said the Social Security was included in that bill, of course, but it was a very small portion of a much larger bill bill. And he said that pulling out any one part of an omnibus bill is the definition of political spin. So a little perspective for you there. But yes, the Verify team did confirm that as a senator, Joe Biden did vote to tax Social Security benefits twice in his career in 1983 and then again in 1993. Now, our money and our jobs is always a very important topic of conversation. Here's some good news if you're looking for work right now. Amazon is looking to hire 100,000 people to keep up with the surges in online shopping that are happening right now. Now, these jobs are not related to their typical holiday hiring. So each year we see Amazon hiring a surge of people to deal with holiday shopping because so many people are doing their holiday shopping online, right? Well, this is not related to that. This is just because so many people have been doing more online shopping because things have been closed. People have been hesitant to go out because of the things that have been in place because of the COVID-19 pandemic. Now, these 100,000 jobs also include 2,400 jobs, 2,400 jobs here in the Cleveland area. So what these jobs will entail will be helping pack, ship, and sort orders, and it will be both part-time and full-time work. So Amazon says it needs these people for its 100 new warehouses, package sorting centers, and other places that it is opening this month in September. Alicia Buller Davis also said, she's the person who is in charge of Amazon's warehouses, that the company is offering $1,000 sign-on bonuses in some cities. It's not clear if that will include Cleveland, but some of the cities that were mentioned that it will definitely include where Amazon might be having some difficulty hiring include Detroit, New York City, Philadelphia, and Louisville, Kentucky. So a lot of those cities not too far from here. So if you have family and friends in those areas, might be worth passing on that word that not only could they get work if they don't have work right now, but you might also be able to get a $1,000 sign-on bonus just for joining the team at this particular time. So keep that in mind. Maybe share that with your family and friends around this general area. The company can definitely afford the new hires right now. They made record profit and record revenue between April and June. And if you're wondering what the starting pay is for these jobs, it's $15 an hour. And this is not Amazon's first hiring spree this year. They hired 175,000 people earlier this year to keep up with all the orders that are coming in. And last week, Amazon said it had 33,000 corporate and tech jobs that needed to be filled. Now, again, this is in addition to holiday shopping hires, which Amazon hasn't said anything about what their plans are necessarily for holiday shopping hires this year. That's still a little ways away, but they do have some big things coming up. They have Prime Day coming up for one thing. That was postponed from July, so that'll be happening sometime this fall. We're not exactly sure when. Last year, though, if you are looking ahead to potential holiday work with Amazon, last year they hired 200,000 people ahead of the holidays. So again, this new 100,000 jobs not tied to the holidays, so it's possible Amazon could make another hire between now and the holidays as well. So keep your eye on that. And something else that's related to that, if you're looking for work in general, UPS also said that last week it plans to bring in 100,000 people to help deliver packages during the holiday season. So we are a little ways away from that, but it's not all that far off. It is September 14th. We're already looking at the fall. We're already looking at spooky things. People very excited about the upcoming Halloween season. People even talking about Thanksgiving and Christmas already. I know. It's absolutely wild to me. The time is just flying by. But yes, here we are. And here is a surefire sign that Halloween is right around the corner because the Aut-O-Rama drive-in has scheduled The Nightmare Before Christmas, a nice little blend of both Halloween and Christmas for the drive-in. So that will be starting to air at the drive-in, which is in North Ridgeville, on October 16th. Showtimes and tickets and advanced sales haven't been announced yet, but people are very excited about it. People are already looking and trying to figure out how they can reserve this, which is more than a month away already. But if you can't wait, what they are showing right now, if you're in the mood for something spooky, are the Evil Dead movies. So yes, we are into the Halloween season, a little over a month away. Of course, lots of other fall things going on. We've got our fall fun guide on WKYC.com. That's courtesy of our contributor, Laura DeMarco. So if you're looking for things to do, make sure you check that out. But that's one more thing you can put on your calendar if you enjoy the drive-in in North Ridgeville. That's it for your 3 News Now early update for Monday, September 14th. I'll see you back here at 3 p.m. That's when we'll dive into what's going on with those COVID-19 numbers and get you caught up on what that's been looking like over the weekend and the past week and where we stand with that. And of course, the rest of the top headlines from WKYC.com and our WKYC app. I will see you back here in just a little bit. I'm Stephanie Haney.